The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
Pacific414 Pop Talk is here. Sit back and relax and join the conversation. We've got Baron, Orman, Tagge, Cash Money 007, and even Mike too. Pop culture, entertainment, news and reviews. Discussions are had, opinions made from the panel to the chat. Everyone is welcome here. Reactions, watch parties, and special guests. We like to have a good time. Pacific414 Pop Talk is underway. Pull up a seat, we're inviting you to stay. Articles, collectibles, reviews, you say. Baron, Cash, and Mike bring the fun tonight. Now sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Don't forget to like or comment below. We almost forgot to share out the show. Pacific414 Pop Talk is one of a kind. It's true. It's true.
I did.
It's true.
Good, I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Not enough of that throat yelling like Chase has.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to this edition of Pacific414 Pop Talk, along with Baron, Orman, Tagge, Cash Money 007. I am your host, Mike, and this evening we are honored, we are privileged to welcome our special guest, Maria with T and Telly. But first, before we bring her in, I want to ask the gents, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm here.
Pretty good.
Traveling around nicely. Yeah, traveling around, having a good time. I don't know who's driving, though. It's not one of those Tesla self-drive cars, so... Well, you can see I'm just driving around.
All right, and how about you, Cash? How are you doing?
Doing all right. Hanging in there.
He's doing all right. He's hanging in there.
Yeah, we're still not talking.
Is that static coming from Barron's? It's okay.
I don't know.
I can hear the static, so I don't know if it's from me or what.
Might be. It's gone now.
Yeah, it could be. It's gone now? Good.
Yeah.
Nope, maybe not.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well,
it's okay.
It's all right.
If I can hear, it's not me.
I'm not. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. Calm down. I'm calmer than both of you guys.
Calmer than you.
I was going to hit that. I was going to hit that, but we don't have it. But okay.
No, I did.
Okay.
I didn't add it. I didn't add a lot of our clips for tonight. But we are honored and privileged to welcome in our special guest, Maria with T and Telly. She is an excellent content creator, has an excellent channel. She's friends with PJ from Orville Nation, Doomcock, and also Troy Pacelli and Netters Network. So please, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Maria with T and Telly.
Yay!
Thank you so much. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I know I look like a librarian right now, but I just got off work.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I just, I was like, oh my gosh, it's time. I can't get ready, so I'm just going to go looking like I usually do. So thanks for
I'm
having
very
me.
pro-librarian.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Librarian. I like books. Books are good. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Books are nice.
So Maria, tell us a little about yourself, a little bit about your channel, and how you got into, well, this YouTube thing.
Oh my goodness. You know, I've been very fortunate during this ride, I have to say. I was on radio before and had a show doing radio, and it was called The People Under the Stairs. And I really enjoyed doing it. And I got to interview some great people. It was just on radio, though. And I was hired to do this particular show, though there was an umbrella of many shows. And the guy, the owner, was noticing that the show was doing really well and that I was getting a lot of listeners and things like that. And it's because I wasn't playing by the rules, I guess, so to say. And so I started attracting a lot of people. Then he wanted to kind of come in, and he ended up wanting to just take over because he saw that it was doing really well. But it became a little difficult to work that way. You know, you have to work as a team. And so I ended up leaving and finding that I really enjoyed it and missed it a lot. And it took me a little bit. One of my friends who recently passed away that we had on my show, my good friend Joe, the Australian producer who did Australia's Most Haunted, we were friends, and he said, "Why don't you go and do YouTube?" And I was like, "Because I don't want to be in front of the camera." I was better behind the camera, just a voice, didn't have to see me. And he's like, "Just get your ugly mug on there. Who's going to care?" I was like, wow. So I decided, it took me a year before I decided to actually do it. And I sat down, it was during COVID. I sat down and I started thinking of a name and things like that, and what I wanted to do with it and the reason for it, because I think having a reason for the channel makes a huge difference in what you're going to do with it. If you just get into it just for the heck of it, uh, you know, you kind of lose your momentum, your motivation. So there was a reason for it. And one of the reasons that I wanted to go into it was to actually help people on a bigger scale. And it wasn't because I thought, oh, look at me, I'm so entertaining. I was doing it mostly for being able to help people with a lot of different things. And, um, and it just kind of grew from there. What helped was I didn't have very many videos. I had only been out for a short time, and PJ came across me and said, "You know, I already like what you have. I know there's not a lot there, but I like what you have, and I think that you have potential here." So I started working with him. He invited me on to his show,
Hmm.
and when he was doing the Orville episodes, and I got to meet one of the actors from there while we were on there, and I was, oh my God, I don't even want to look at my first video. It's still in there, and I almost want to take it down. It's embarrassing. I didn't have a clue. I had these huge headphones, and all you could see was headphones. My head was hiding in it. And I was so shy and sheepish because I was like terrified to be in front of the camera. And so I was just kind of like a total dweeb. And he kept, and I thought this was a one chance kind of thing. And I said, "Thank you for giving me that opportunity." He's like,
Hmm.
"No, no, no, no. You're gonna, I'd like to keep on, you know, keep on, keeping on." And I was like, "All right." So it just kind of grew into that from there. And my channel started doing more. And with the help of PJ and my producer friend, and my producer friend, though, was he was harsh. He was a professional because he directed films and he did a lot of cinematography stuff for like Harry Potter and Ghostbusters and all these huge things. So he was used to big, huge things. And so he was trying to get me to be a big, huge thing. And I'm like, but I'm just this little guy. Just calm down. I'm not there yet. And it took a while for me to find my niche and what I wanted to do. And I tried
Hmm.
things, and some of the things were like, what the heck am I doing? This is ridiculous. So it was a lot of trial and error. But then my network started growing and growing, and I started to really enjoy it. And then it just kind of exploded from there. All of a sudden, like the second year, I saw my subscriptions were just going and going and going. I was like, oh my gosh. But advertising, getting my channel out there helped a lot. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, I really enjoy doing this.
Very nice, very nice. And you had something in common with Baron. You were both from radio, and I didn't know if you had any questions you wanted to ask Maria about her experience in radio, Baron, or not. And
Oh, well, so basically, you said you were having like an interview show. Is that correct? Did I hear you right on that?
That I was having interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
I got to interview some actors. I don't even know how I did it because this was before I made connections with all these people that I have now. I did it on my own. I just basically went to them and said, "Hey, can you be on my show?" And I ended up interviewing some actors and producers, and somebody actually has had a film out there, and they put my review on the actual DVD. So if you go out to buy this DVD, I'm
Hmm.
on there as part of
Oh, cool.
a comment on stuff. So I was able to, yeah, I got lucky. I just got really lucky and interviewed some really awesome people.
And sometimes it's amazing. You go out there and you send a hook out there, you might say,
Hmm.
and you'd be surprised who might actually take a bite off of that. And
Hmm.
uh, sometimes you find people more than happy to come on and talk, and then of course you got the ones that say, "Hell no."
Yeah.
But yeah, you do meet a lot of interesting people. I mean, around with me it was a lot of local
Yeah.
personalities that we had here in Twin Cities. But I was able to interview astronauts and a few other like that. So those are kind of like the highlights of my. In fact, my first interview ever was with an astronaut that went up in the
Oh,
space.
nice. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's an honor. I know one of the interviews I did was, I will mention his name and say no more, but you all know Ron Jeremy.
Yeah.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Well, he did this movie called One-Eyed Monster, and he there was one of the lead guys in the show, and his
Mhm.
name is Brett Fletcher, and I got to know him, and so he came on my show and did the interview, and it was different because now you have where you can show people things, you can pull things up and give them visuals. It
Mhm.
was a bit more difficult. And as you know, on radio, you have to definitely express everything through your words because that's all
Mhm.
you have is your voice and
Yeah.
words. But it was fun. He said it was one of the most fun interviews that he had ever had. And
Oh.
so I was very honored to hear that. But yeah, it's
Mhm.
great.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. People don't realize, just like my instructor and all that said. If you're talking, you smile. If you're smiling, they
Mhm.
know if you're smiling. Uh, and when I don't have the camera on, even when I have the camera on, I'm expressing myself because
Mhm.
I know the people can see that, even though they don't see it. It's one of those odd things about it.
Hmm.
And before we continue, I do want to say thank you to McKinney Draws for the
Oh,
$2 super sticker. It's a Shiba dog, and it's shaking.
ooh,
I can name.
ooh.
I don't know if any of you know who he is. He is a great artist with his own
Oh,
channel, and
yes, he is. Yes, he
yes,
is.
I think
well,
he's been around Daryl before, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
yeah. And I have behind me, right there, is me that he did for me, and that's
Oh,
yeah, the drawing of me, Lady Vampira.
ah,
Yes.
Now this must be a little different because you're used to being interviewed. I mean, used to interviewing. Now you're being interviewed. Yeah, how does that feel having that reversed on you?
It's kind of difficult because I'm always wanting to ask questions and try not to. You have to remind yourself you're the guest, you're not the person doing the interview.
Hmm.
So, it's an honor. It's interesting. It's fun, but I have to remember that that it is a different take.
Hmm.
So, but it's fun. It's good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I when I was doing Baron After Dark and bringing people on and interviewing, after the show, they were all like dumbfounded because it's like, well, you hardly talk. It's like I was talking. I was afraid I was taking over the show. It's like, yeah, you got the point. You're supposed to take over the show. It's about you. I want you to talk. You make me look good. You know. And it's like when you see a person in one like the realm here, where I'm a little bit more crazy and outspoken to when it comes around to interviewing because we want to hear what the guest has to say. And we know the guests usually have
Mhm.
great stories. And we love stories. They can
Stories.
even be true. They can even be true. And we'll love
Yeah, I try my best to make them true. Yeah.
it.
And we've got the Padawan be saying, "Oh, I see. I guess the cool theme song is only for particular guests, certain particular guests." I've been
Never
working
forget.
on that for a while, Padawan. I didn't have it ready for your time on the show, and the main reason is because it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it.
You're not as
You didn't
important
care.
as you think you are, Padawan. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not a guest. You're one of us. You're like the fifth Beatle.
And hello to Sci-Fi Mommy. Good to see you. We also have
So
Jet
bye.
Sparks.
Jet Sparks.
You just got to keep pushing at it, Jet. And we have Dr. Omega. Makini is awesome. Yes, make sure you catch his
Hmm.
morning show
Yeah.
every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 7 a.m. Pacific Time, and it's 9 a.m. Central Time.
Cash's bedtime.
No, Baron's
That's just-
bedtime.
I don't know. I don't know what my bedtime is anymore, to be honest.
But
Uh,
you know,
Maria, one of the first times I actually saw you was the Sunday night on Doomcock's channel.
Mhm.
And I was listening, and you came on, and it was your voice, just how calm
mhm.
and relaxed your voice was. It's like
Oh,
I could listen to her all day.
yeah.
Uh, that's well. Thank you. I appreciate that because usually I'm always afraid people will be like, "Shut up already, God."
No, no. You can talk all you want. We won't complain.
Thank you. Yeah, I started out actually doing things for authors of books and
Mhm.
turning their books into little videos. And I asked them to, because when I first started out, I got to get out there. I need to kind of do stuff for people and show them that I'm supporting them. So I took some authors and I said, "Hey, I really like your book. I'd like to do a little something on it. Is that okay?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, of course." So I would do these little videos and I would read a portion of it.
Mhm.
And people were like, "God, that sounds so ASM." I'm like, "Well, I wasn't trying to be, but if it works, then great." So I kind of got the attention from some people in that sense where they were liking the ASM effect of that when I was reading from these books, and then just went from there. Um, I'm generally a pretty calm person anyway. People, every time I go somewhere to the store or something, and I have to ask somebody for help, like I go to Home Depot and there's a guy there and he's like, "Hey, can I help you with something?" And I'll ask him and he's like, "What? What?" Because they're like saying I speak too softly, that I speak too softly, and I'm like, I don't want to yell. Speaking of PJ, Hey,
I
PJ's out
usually
there in the audience.
I usually have the opposite. They tell me to hush, get quiet now.
Yeah, except when I sing, though. See, I sing, when I sing, it's incredibly loud, and because I do that with my whole heart. But I don't know. Speaking, I just kind of tend to be, I may talk a lot, like PJ will say. Maria, he calls
Mhm.
me T and Telly talks a lot. But but I don't know. I'm just a calm person. I'm just very I like quiet. I like calm. I don't know, that's just my thing, but I'm reading some of the comments in here.
Uh,
Yep,
yeah.
but she carries a big stick.
Mm. I ain't gonna mess with her.
My chancla.
Now, being with the radio, like you were saying, you're having problems with, at first getting the idea of having that camera, that you know, the other one-eyed monster on you. Um, uh, did you ever think about not, just having like, the guys down below there, just not showing yourself, or have you thought about ever going to do podcasts now because they're becoming very popular and they're somewhat tied with YouTube?
They are, and I think I have thought of doing that. I might even consider at some point doing one of those live on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time doing with the X thing.
We do too.
But I was thinking about doing that and seeing how that goes. Um, I would like to explore different ways to get out there when I can, and I figured that I would just kind of face my fear about being in front of the camera, and just kind of get over any, I might as well be candid, insecurities or anything I might
Oh
have
yeah.
of that, and realize that people, because I know people can be really harsh, like, oh my God, did you see what she was wearing? Did you see, this or that or the other? And even when I do videos up close, like when I was building a computer, I have a video of that. And I'm all passionate about building this computer because, hey, I can build computers. And so I'm showing the process of it. But after I'm watching it, I was like, oh my God, my hands look horrible because I don't have girly nails. I'm kind of a nail biter, so I don't have pretty nails and stuff. And I was just not wanting to look at the comments because I was afraid somebody was going to be in there. God, did she not do her nails or something? Because people can be harsh,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah, they can.
for the most part, people have been pretty forgiving. I haven't really received a lot of bad comments on things. As a matter of fact, that video I did really, really well with the nerd community. As you know, we love to be called that. It's an honorary title. And any computer stuff I do, they want to know what I'm doing and what I'm showing. So I got past the whole I don't have pretty nails kind of thing.
Uh, you don't have to worry about that because really a lot of us, especially with all the fake stuff out there. I mean, look at the Kardashians and all the others, the Botox,
Hmm.
plastic surgery, and
Mhm.
all that. A lot
Hmm.
of us like that real natural beauty. Forgive me, I don't want to make myself sound creepier, but the beauty that you have, natural beauty on that, and a lot of that, of course, shines through with your personality. So
Oh, thank you.
you don't want to see what my nails look like either. Uh, but I think that's going to be one of the last things you have to worry about. But I understand what you mean about being self conscious. It took me a long
Hmm.
time for me to be able to watch myself on YouTube, and I knew I had to do that because I had to, as part of the training regimen. You play the game, then you go back and look at the reels. And
Hmm.
see what you did right, what you did wrong, what you could do better, and all that.
Yeah,
So I finally broke that insecurity. I hated hearing myself. I hated seeing
yeah,
myself, and so I know
yeah.
where you're coming from. I think all of us who's been in the industry, or even doing this, have been there. So
Hmm.
And I
we're
think one of the
united
things
front.
that I think one of the things that draws us to you, to McKinney, to PJ, Orville Nation, Stone Loki, Doomcock, the list can go on, is because you're all real, you're all authentic. I think that works
Mhm,
a lot better, especially on this platform, than being prepared with a script and being fake.
Yeah.
mhm,
That's one of the things that I try to stay true of. I know it's very bizarre for me to be sitting here signing autographs and sending them off to people because as I'm doing it, I'm like, this is so weird. I'm just being me, and I'm just signing these autographs and sending them out. And heck, even my cats have signed autographs and send them out. Um, and so it's because always stay humble, of course, but um, I still don't think I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm glad that people like what I'm doing, and but I try to stay true to myself in a sense where, as a female YouTuber, I'm very paranoid about being safe because of all the horror stories I've heard out there of female
mhm,
YouTubers, and so I make sure that I'm incredibly private in a lot of senses, but I do try to stay true to myself and not be completely different. I know a lot of the stuff I can do is acting if I'm doing scripts and things like that, but
mhm,
myself, and one of the things that I have to thank you guys for is bringing me here to do this as well because um, I I kind of stopped streaming for a little bit, and and I kind of try to stay in the media to keep people from thinking I completely disappeared. But it was just little bits, and I wanted to come back and say, "Oh, I was gone on," but I thought, you know what? I'm going to be honest with people. I'm going to tell them exactly why I was gone for a while because it's a human thing,
mhm,
and I had gone into a little bit of a depression, and which was a first for me, and it was a hard thing to accept that I had, and there was just way too much stuff that was going on that I couldn't control, and so it took a lot out of me, and it was difficult to get in front of the camera and be happy and cheerful when I couldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And so I kept saying, I'll try next week, I'll try next week. And next week turned into a month and then 2 months. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But then I was like thinking to myself, I have almost 40,000 subscribers. I cannot abandon them that way, in that sense that I don't want them thinking that I'm just gone. And I have to thank everybody for supporting me and everything. And it was important to reach out for help, which is something difficult for people to
mhm,
do, and especially myself, because I'm always the one helping people. And
mhm,
to ask for help was like, this is hard. So I had to learn a lot in that process.
mhm,
And so I thought to myself, I'm just going to be honest and tell people why I had been gone for a little bit. But it was the help from everybody saying, where are you? Are you okay?
mhm,
And being there for me that said to myself, I'm not alone and asking for help is okay.
mhm,
And so I did everything I could to kind of see myself through that. And I've been starting to come back now. And it's been rewarding and refreshing and for me. And so I thank you for this because it's been a while since I've been in front of the camera.
Well, I'll be your brothers in arms and all that because I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I when I was uh, diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. Of course, when they said depression, so that was for me. What do you mean depression? I don't feel depressed.
Yeah,
Anyone who sees me, especially being gregarious, but yeah, it's really hurt my channel. I'll be honest. But one of my therapies, I sit back and say, I mean, I'm starting to show my face more and more the camera now. A long time I wasn't doing it, but it's these guys down here and many other YouTubers out there that I work with that help get me. That as I sit back and say, these guys are my therapy.
Well, I mean,
So I
it was
understand
the
where you
same for
are.
me too. Same for me too, Baron. I mean, when my mother passed away,
Hmm.
I I was lost.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I stopped streaming, and it took meeting other YouTubers like the Nerporial Lifeform, finding Doomcock and others
Hmm.
to help me get back on the saddle. And I think my mom would be proud of that because today would have been her 75th birthday. The fact that I continue to do what I love to do, you know,
Yeah. She
this
did.
is therapy. Meeting people like Maria, meeting you,
Hmm.
of course, Baron Cash, and so many others, so many people who are currently in the chat right now. You've all helped us in more ways than you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's a
It is
Padawan.
simple.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
yeah,
Padawan is a troublemaker.
Yeah.
He's a problem.
we
It's a,
gotta have one.
it
We
is.
gotta have one in the group.
Actually, the true real one is Phil McCracken. So
He
we try not to say his name too often, and he
he
appears.
he'll pop up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's listening. He's always listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do appreciate this because it is therapeutic. It is therapeutic to be around people that you never know what somebody's going through, and like each one of you guys, and for you, that stop streaming for a little bit, and it helps when people come at you and say, "Where are you? Are you okay?" And
Hmm.
it helps a lot.
Well,
Yeah, well, we haven't seen you in a while. Is everything all right? The, you find out who really cares when
Hmm.
you get a message saying, "Is everything okay?"
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
know that came up between you and Cash, and when we talk after shows or before shows, it's like who we haven't seen in a long time is Maria. And it's like, oh yeah, you're
Hmm.
right. And it's like, so yeah, I mean, word gets around. I mean, even to
yeah,
us little people here that
whatever. Well, it's
Yeah,
good
well,
to
I'm not
know.
so little, but you know what I mean.
and that's the thing. If we haven't seen somebody in the chat, if I have their contact information, I will reach out to them saying, "Everything okay? You good?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
need to
Hmm.
talk?"
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. It is nice because there were times where I thought, "Oh my God, I'm all alone. I can't," just and then that makes things worse for you sometimes, and
Hmm.
um, but it's hard when you're the one helping people all the time to kind of look at that and think, "Oh
hmm
my gosh, now I need help. What the heck is wrong with
yeah,
me?"
right, exactly. Yeah, you're the one giving basically therapy to other people, and then you're the one who's now going through stuff. And even
Hmm.
people who think, "Oh, my life is perfect. My life this," no, we don't know what's going on with them, and they
Yeah,
want to hide it because they need to show that they're all together when
Hmm.
inside they may be falling apart. It's the same
absolutely.
thing with anything. They go, I don't know why my channel's not growing. I don't know
Mhm.
why this is not growing. Well, have you looked and see what you can do to fix the channel? Oh no, everything's perfect. I don't understand why this person's more popular than this person. It's like, well, there's luck and there's other stuff involved. But even people, I mean, unfortunately, and it's not against YouTube's policies, but people can run their channel any way they want. But there
Hmm.
are people around that just come off as fake. The things
Yeah.
they say, the
Mhm.
things they do, and you can
Mhm.
just tell that it's like this is not genuine. Even if they're a nice person, you're just like, eh, this
Yeah.
could be better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have tried to help some if they ask for it, without trying to sound like I know everything. It's not that. It's just I learned how to,
Hmm.
because of good help and good people,
Hmm.
you learn how to get on the wave. And once you're on that wave, it just helps your channel a lot because I mean, for my being in, I think I'm going on a 4-year-old channel. It's still a, it's still a new channel to some, and to
Hmm.
be where I'm at now is just is amazing. It's an honor. I don't take it for granted. And but now that I'm coming back, I have so many more ideas, more people that I'm going to be talking to, and
Hmm.
doing a lot and being creative, and I'm excited for it. So I think it'll start to get a little momentum again and get back on that wave.
Hmm. Now, of course, you were saying before did things, of course, reading books and such like that. Uh, is there a particular? Just one second. Hi, Lady Mist. Sorry. Had Is there a particular author that's a favorite, or book, or maybe even series that you particularly have that you really enjoy sharing with others?
Hmm. I actually do love a couple of them that are my favorites. One of them, unfortunately, can't write anymore, and that's Terry Pratchett,
Hmm.
since he's passed. But I started collecting all his books. I love steampunk, and his world was amazing. So anytime he did steampunk, anything he did in a movie, I would watch, and anything that's somewhat similar to it, I follow and watch as well because
Hello,
of
Lady
that.
Miss.
And Lady Mist is awesome.
Yes.
And
Yes, she is.
the other author I love a lot is Jim Butcher, the one who wrote Dresden Files, because I love the Dresden Files. And I'm sad that the series was so short lived. And now there's this, cult following on the show, but
Hmm.
unfortunately it left. But I love his books. I collect a lot of his books. I even have a signature with one as well.
What did you think? Sorry to interrupt. What did you think of the changes they did from the books to the actual TV show? Like,
I was really surprised that it followed it almost to the books.
hmm.
It did a pretty good job of it. As
Hmm.
a matter of fact, I loved the way it was done. I loved the lead actor; he was perfect for it. Everybody was great in it. I really wished it had continued, and it was sad to see the show go because it was awesome. And mainly too because, and I've said this many times, I'm dyslexic, so it takes me forever to read. So sometimes if I can catch a show that's similar to the books, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it for a while. But I also listen to a lot of BBC radio for where they act out their books. You don't
Hmm.
see them, you just hear them. So it's like
Hmm.
radio and they act it out. And oh my God, it's amazing. So I listen to a lot of authors that way.
Hmm.
I need more shelves because I'm running out of book space. I I love books. I have, yes, I know, and I love to hold the books, to smell
Hmm.
the book, to feel the pages and turn them. And because I'm the kind of gal, I'm not a shoe person. You can go in my closet. I've got like what 4 or 5 pair of shoes. I don't buy a bunch of purses. My favorite stores are are like Home Depot and Lowe's, hardware stores. Ace Hardware. Those are my favorite stores, and book stores. I
Hmm.
just can go in there and smell them forever. I love the smell of
Hmm.
hardware stores and bookstores. Those are my favorite stores.
Good seeing you, Rod. Mhm.
I
Well,
know
Great to
what
see
you mean
Rod
there.
Thunderheart. It's great to see Orville Nation, Lady Mist.
Mhm.
We've got DJ Ronnie G here. We got Phil McCracken here. Anonymous is here.
Doo, doo,
As
doo,
I
doo.
scroll up, we got the Nerdtorial Lifeform here.
Nerdy. Of
So
course,
many
nerd.
great, wonderful people here.
Nerd for, of course, EG. Nerd. Yeah, I know what you mean about bookstores.
Lovely Sherry's here as
Yeah,
well.
I'm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, the lovely Sherry. Hi, lovely Sherry. Yeah, I'm kind of. The wife complains every time I buy a new book. Let's put it that way. So I just got to sit back and say, "You're my spirit animal."
right.
I mean, I know what you mean, though. I mean, we used to do with my former wife and her friends. We used to do once a year or twice a year book runs where we'd hit one bookstore after another bookstore, whether it be like Uncle Hugo's or Dreamhaven and the various other ones. And of course, by the end of that day, I think that's where my back went out. To be honest with you, because, um, yeah, I get big books sometimes.
Yes, big book. I also love to support new authors and
Hmm.
people that are wanting to write, and it's hard to get it out there. So when they do it, it's something I always love to support. But like some of the people in our community, like King Dolphin and
Yep.
Adega and all of those that have books out. As soon as I know they're out, I will go get them, and because I want to support them
Hmm.
and things like that. But even celebrities that have books that people don't know that they're actually writing. For example, Lou Diamond Phillips. Um, Everybody knows him as an actor, but he's got books out, and
Hmm.
so you saw me pushing his books and telling people to get it because they didn't know that he also wrote, and he wrote too. He's got a few of them in there. The Tinderbox, sci-fi, and oh, you got the King Dolphin. Oh, nice,
Hmm.
nice.
Yep.
Yep, got it
Good
on the
one.
shelf.
Yeah.
And so he may be a celebrity, but he's writing, and it's a big thing. And so I helped, tell people about it and stuff. So it doesn't matter if they're new or if they're known authors or just starting out authors, celebrity, doesn't matter. I love to put books out there
Hmm.
because that is one thing that I do not want to see going away in our age of technology.
Hmm.
It's like Fahrenheit 51, like, I'm terrified that it's going to be to the point where books are going to be like an underground thing. And
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like ebooks. I don't trust ebooks.
It
I don't
it's
trust them at all.
it's funny that you bring up Lou Diamond Phillips because like he's a good actor, but I still remember when he was in the grocery store and he had his sunglasses on, and it's like, oh, don't approach me. It's like you're not as big as you think you are, dude. And I know it was Lou Diamond Phillips in there, and he just had sunglasses on. It just made me laugh. I'm like, don't worry, dude. And nobody approached him. It was just funny. He's a good actor. I admit that,
he's the
But
but
sweetest guy. If you ever
I hear he's a
follow
nice
him,
guy.
he
that
is. If
I
you
just
ever follow him,
yeah
you will see that he responds to each and every person. He's generally very humble, which surprises me
Hmm.
to hear that, Cash, because
yeah
he is very generous, and he responds to most of the chats, the people that talk to him on there. And anybody who's ever met him has said, "Oh my God, you're very approachable. You're very nice. He's
Hmm.
very friendly." So it surprised me, but I think
yeah
that just goes to show that we can all have bad days, because there are days where I'm like, "Oh
hmm
God, nobody look at me. Nobody talk to me. I just want to murder somebody right now if I don't get a pickle." You know,
yeah.
I don't have my taco in my belly. I'm going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So
It's
I,
just
Me all the
I
time.
Yeah,
love
you have those days where you go, don't talk to me, don't talk to me, don't look in my direction, don't look at
Yeah.
anybody, and then you're the one that accidentally looks at somebody. It's like, oh,
yeah. And then you meet other celebrities like Henry Winkler, who I met at an airport, and so did my
Mhm,
family. And he was
mhm,
coming home from a Colorado trip, if I remember, in Aspen. Really nice guy, And I
mhm.
remember my
Yes,
mom went up to him and said, "Yeah, we're still watching reruns of Happy Days," and he said, thank you very much." Very,
Hmm.
very nice dude. Um,
he is. He's very nice.
Hmm.
And
I
no, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, I think everyone goes through a phase too, where you kind of go up and then you realize, oh no, I'm thinking too high of myself, and go down. It's
Mhm.
like trying to equalize an ego, because even when we're
Mhm.
doing this, we have to have an ego of some sort to be doing
Yes.
this.
hmm
But that ego should be the confidence that we're doing. We're going to be doing a good
Mhm.
job. But sometimes if you don't keep it in check, that's when you become the diva.
He actually did a video on that I passed out to people on that, and where he talks about how he thought, well, since I'm, doing all this stuff, I'm, gonna be offers only. And he's like, I'm gonna have to start acting like a celebrity. And then after a while, he's like, that's not me. That's not who I am. And so he
Hmm.
started remembering, he said, I'm going back to my roots. and just be a humble person and just be me. And so that's kind of a good lesson for everybody,
Hmm.
is to, no matter what kind of success one has, is you always want to remember where you came from and how you got there. And that's something I could never forget, no matter how much, no matter what I do, no matter how big, it will get, is to always be true to the people who were there to support you all the way. And
Hmm. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know. Right now, he's going through a bad time. His name is a bit of mud right now. But Neil Gaiman used to live around our area here, and I'd run into him now and then. He was always generous. I met him at conventions, and we'd stand together next to each other, listening to Harlan Ellison. Or I'm at the Renaissance Festival, and he's walking along, and we exchange, greetings and all that. Always was approachable. That's why, hearing what's going on now really hurts. uh and it's like, well, I have no judgment one way or another, because that's how we roll here. That's for others to do that. But yeah, it's amazing when you do meet those, and sometimes the local celebrities are the worst.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
I mean, even people like Jimmy Kimmel, who I met many years ago, Maria, when he was part of K Rock over here in California, in Southern
Hmm.
California. Nice guy. And I still think he can be nice guy, but what has happened to him is just like, dude, it's embarrassing. It really is.
Mhm,
And it's just the way it is. And
mhm,
even people that you watch their movies, you're like, oh, this is so funny, or
Hmm.
like Will Ferrell or whatever. And what has happened to a lot of these people that you
Hmm.
grew up with?
Yeah.
And it's really, really embarrassing what has happened to them. And it's like, can they just stop this? Is there something
Hmm.
going on in their lives that they want it, or they just they were happy to sell their soul for whatever it is, for the money, for whatever, the so-called fame. And I just, every time I go, it's really bad. Hey, I enjoyed what that guy did. What is he doing now? Oh, he's doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, something that I grew up with as a little kid, and then like he's insulting this show. Well, that pisses me off, But
Hmm.
it's really unfortunate, and it just keeps
Hmm.
happening. And so then when people say, "Oh, this entertainment's great," you look at them, it's like, do you really know what great entertainment is? I mean, it's all subjective, but
Hmm.
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky. I ran into. I mean, even Anthony Daniels. I hear stories that he's a very difficult man. But when I was at a convention and we ran across each other, he was coming out the restaurant I was going in, and we just exchanged pleasantries. It was very nice. It's
Mhm.
like,
Hmm.
Hmm.
hello, and all that. Wasn't fawny, no nothing. It's like, okay, I do it to you. I do it to you. I do it to Mike. I wouldn't do it to Cash, but that sort of thing. Um, I think that when you do treat people, even the celebrities, and not fawning, I think sometimes they like that. Oh, finally, I don't have to be me, and I can be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like for me going to a Star Trek convention in San Diego in the early '90s and meeting Marina Sirtis, and she was very pleasant. She
Hmm.
talked for a little bit, signed my picture that I had, and we had a short little conversation, and then moved on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Michael Dorn was great when I met him. He was a
Hmm.
really nice.
Yeah. I think it's because a lot of times people tend to separate a celebrity. I mean, it is difficult. It's kind of unusual to see somebody doing all the shows you love, and then all of a sudden they're standing in front of you. It's just kind of an odd thing. And sometimes people kind of go with the mentality that they are that person that they're seeing on
Mhm,
TV. And I do my best, to make sure that I don't ever treat them any different. And I was to tell myself, I'm just as important as they are, just because they know more people and have more money. Just kidding.
mhm.
No. But I remember it was funny. I went to lunch with a celebrity, and we were talking, and then he says to me, "Well, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh," and so I'm telling him, and then I said, "And what do you?" Oh, never mind. What am I doing? And he starts laughing. I said, "I'm sorry. I just, and he said, "No, my God, that's awesome." He actually appreciated that I wasn't looking at him, that I wasn't in his presence because of who he was.
Hmm.
I just, it just kind of slipped my mind, and I said, "Oh my God, I was about to ask you what you do." So, so he laughed, and it was nice. And so it's, I think, um, people can get tired of being that, or trying to constantly be
Hmm.
that person that you're
Hmm.
seeing all the time. Like Robin Williams, I'm sure he got tired of constantly having to be the funny guy,
Hmm.
all the time. Every time people saw him, they expected him to be lively and
Hmm.
comical and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes people are completely different behind closed doors than they are in front of the
Hmm.
camera.
Mhm.
So,
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I ran
Yeah.
into Harry Shearer one time at the courtroom. It was the Robert Blake trial at the time, and there
Oh,
was
I thought it
Harry
was awesome
Shearer.
having you.
And I says, "Oh, is this the first time you've been here?" Yeah, and then I realized, oh my gosh, I just talked to Harry Shearer, and I didn't realize it at the time. But I just had a conversation with him, and it's just like, wait, is that Harry Shearer? And like, I didn't even say anything. All I said, "Wow, this is weird, huh?" And stuff. And yeah, yeah, and he seemed nice. It was just bizarre. I bet he was probably surprised, and he said, "You're Harry
mm,
Shearer," but of course he's a voice actor as well as, and a lot of people wouldn't know him from The Mighty Wind. Some people
mhm.
would, but not that many. So
Hmm.
it's just funny,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's been, I think that's one of the things that my channel has, having it has been awesome, is meeting everybody in the community, and no matter how big or small or whatever in between, people are people, and though there may be differences of opinion sometimes,
Hmm.
you do tend to set that aside, and get to know the person individually, and find that they're a good person.
Hmm.
And it's just, networking is an awesome thing. And
yes.
so I thank PJ a lot for it, a lot of it, because he found me, and then at the same time he introduced me to a lot of people, and but at the same time he made me do it on my own, and said, "Go there, say hi." And it was up to me to present myself to them, and if they liked me, then that was great.
Hmm.
And so that was an honor for anybody who did. So I thank the channel for bringing a lot to my life. So I'm always grateful for it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's amazing who you run into here.
yeah, it is, and I'm grateful for this platform because one of the first people I actually had on this very show was the Nerdporeal Life Form, and we became friends, and
mhm.
we've collaborated on a few things, and you just never know what's going to happen with this platform. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't, and but one of the things for anybody who's definitely wanting to start is to, you know, is oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I was thinking some. Um,
All the time.
the thing that helped me was is and whenever somebody says, "Oh, I don't know what's wrong with my channel, how come it's not going anywhere, yada yada," and I know it was harsh, but I would tell this individual, "I want you to look at your channel." And they're like, "Yeah, I see it all the time." I'm like, "No, look at your channel as if you are seeing it for the first time. Would you subscribe to you?"
Hmm.
And they're like, "Well," there you go. What do you think you need to change on that, to make it different? And so I started. That's how I started looking at it. Um, every time I look at my channel, I'm like, okay, if I were to look at it, would I subscribe to me? So whenever people put out the link and stuff, and they're like, "Subscribe to her," I'm like, God, I hope I have good stuff up.
Well, and we also have to remember we're not everybody's cup of tea, too. Uh,
Yeah.
Not to have a pun to the name of your channel,
It's true
but
though.
but and you have to remember that. And as I've always preached and told the guys here, and I think they agree with me, is I'm not here to be your friend. And what I mean by that is usually when we're going out there to try to be everybody's friend,
Mm-hmm.
we lose who we are. So my attitude is I'm coming out as me. Whether
Mm-hmm.
I'm being the crazy Baron or like now, more normal Baron. Um, if you like me, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and subscribe. That means at least I'm doing something right there. But you realize that not everybody's going to like you. Not
Yeah.
everybody's going to like what you have. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's how many different channels of YouTube out there you
Mm-hmm.
can go to.
Mm-hmm.
But just try to do the best you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's my attitude to the whole thing. So
Yeah. And enjoy
like
what
me,
you do.
yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
most importantly,
That,
if you
that's
don't like it, why
that's
do it?
that's the key factor right there. You have to be able to enjoy what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're not enjoying what you're doing, if you need to take a break, take that break.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Burnout is a real thing.
it
Oh yeah.
is. Mm-hmm. It can be. And I used to panic all the time that, when I'd have a show and I was going to start it at this time and I was running late and I'm like panicking and I'm like running around going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. PJ was like, Maria, it's your show. Who cares if you're late? I'm like, well, I don't want to disappoint anybody. But his point was, you know what? If it becomes a job, then it's not going to be enjoyable.
Hmm.
And I found that I kept telling myself, I got to put this out. I got to do this. I got to do this. And it became overwhelming, and to the point where I was like, oh my God, that's just so much. It was too much. I felt almost nervous about it all because I was being invited to come on to a lot of shows, and I felt bad for having turned them down. And then I needed to get this person and this and this video out. And it was just like, oh my God. So I had to be reminded, look, it's okay. Stuff's going to happen, you know, whatever. It's you're in control, and anything you can't control, it's, who cares? So I started then relaxing a little bit more and enjoying it
How
more.
much? Okay, my apologies. I didn't mean to
No, no, no,
step
good.
over you there. But how much of it do you think it was breaking yourself of that radio mentality where, okay, we start on the top of the hour, we have the news there for about 5 minutes, and after that, no dead air. You can't have more than dead air. So we go so long, then we have that, and bottom of the hour we have that, and now we got to get back to the top of hour. And we got to follow that clock like you know, like a rat in a maze. And
Yeah,
how much of that do you think you had to break? That might have been affecting you. Had to break that.
right. It was quite a bit, actually. Sometimes I still find myself in that habit.
Hmm.
One of the things I have to remind myself when I have a guest is try not to talk too much and let them talk.
Hmm.
And it's because my ear listens for silent gaps. And if I hear
Hmm.
one, I'm right on it. I'm right on it. And that's a bad thing because it doesn't allow people to process information. And if I have a co-host and maybe they want to jump in or something, um, so I still have to train myself to remember. No, I don't need to do that. They could see us. They could see people's thought process when they're
Hmm.
shifting their eyes around, thinking and stuff. Because
Hmm.
on radio, you can't see that. So you think there's dead air, so you jump in right away,
Hmm.
constantly jumping in. And so I'm still kind of trying to break myself of that it's okay if there's a little bit of a silence in there, and also being on time all the time and all this stuff. It's still kind of a thing for me. But anytime somebody's going to be on my show, I tell them it's at 6 o'clock, but I put it on YouTube for 6:10 or 6:15 to allow time for a little faux pas and stuff to happen, which
Hmm.
do.
Hmm.
But I don't panic over those like I used to. And so there's still a little bit of trace in there, and some of it is because I'm a little OCD on things. I'm an OCD person when it comes to things being perfect, and I'm a Virgo, so so everything has to be perfect and everything has to be planned and everything has. But that's one thing this channel has taught me is that chaos happens. And one of the songs I wrote talks about that, embracing the chaos and just being free from
Yep.
that. And it's helped a lot. So,
Teaching yourself to just roll with it and
Mhm.
hmm
let everything flow naturally.
yeah. And laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself when you can.
Mhm.
It's
They always say you don't make the sausage in front of the customers, but YouTube, well, you get to see a lot of sausage making.
Well, it's like us last week, Baron. We're trying to decide. Okay, what movie should we watch next month? We're all trying to come up with ideas. We're asking the chat for ideas. What
Mhm.
movie should we watch this month? And then you're looking at people put up ideas, and you think, all right, fine, I'll make a poll. Make it easy on everybody.
My head's still sore from hitting the desk constantly over that.
Yeah, because it was
Well,
funny, Maria. Baron's all, why are you making sausage in front of the customer? I said they're part of the process.
that's true. Sometimes you got to include them. Hey, it's like they do in those restaurants where you're sitting right there doing it right in front of you, and making
Yeah,
sure
Hmm.
you're doing it
hibachis.
right. Yes, the hibachi style, and making sure that I ordered this. Are you making that? That's what I'm getting. That's what I want.
Hmm. Hmm. And it makes you feel. It makes it show that you're just as real as everybody else.
Yeah.
It drops a facade of fakeness.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
people that you sometimes get tricked into. And then it's just like, okay, yeah, this is the way it is. This is who I am, and they still
Hmm.
like me. Obviously, they're still watching. So,
Yeah, it's true. Oh my goodness, I'm actually shaking because I'm cold. Just
oh
in case you're wondering why,
well, stoke that fire a little bit more behind you.
I turn it up a little bit. Yeah, no, I'm in Colorado and it's cold and it's been
Well,
snowing and it's only 23 right now, so
I know I didn't even know that, but look at the mug I got. It's Colorado. I just grabbed it. It's like,
that's crazy. Representing Colorado.
So
So I applaud you guys for working together because I tell you what, it's hard to work with a team sometimes. It is a lot of
it's hard.
personalities.
I'll be honest. It's hard finding a team that you gel with, and yeah, that I know a few people that I gel with pretty well. But when it came to Cash and Baron, having streamed with them before, I knew who I wanted as my co-host.
Hmm.
and he still took us.
We told him that he could find somebody else. It's okay. Like we
Oh, yeah, I know. There's a for rent sign on my chair.
yeah,
I,
we were like, he can find some replacements. He doesn't need
No,
us.
no, it was more like I gave you guys your draft notice.
Like Cash and I, we're always at each other's throats, so it's amazing how this
Uh,
show can happen.
yeah,
The feuds that
always.
we two have, yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
yeah.
we're still not
Baron and
talking.
I started doing like our own show as well, so
Mhm.
it's just crazy. It's like we can't get away from each other, but we
Yeah.
we talk backstage. We when people are upset about stuff, we talk about things, and we wish that they don't have to, but it would be nice like after a show. And I understand people are tired, it's draining, but it would be great if people backstage could talk some more. Like I've had some good
Hmm.
conversations with people that I had talked to. Uh,
Hmm.
Daryl, of course. Daryl's a nut, though. He's a good guy,
Hmm.
but he's a nut, Maria. He is. I will always tell
Well,
him that. But uh, it's just nice. Like you have a conversation with somebody, and they said, "Oh, hey, man, we should talk on our channel in a few weeks and stuff." And you don't know if things are going to happen, but the one thing that people forget about is networking. So you go to a convention,
Mhm.
you should network. Even if there's some crap there, whatever, go to a convention, network, make business cards. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, you shouldn't do that. But yes, that's what I did for TwitchCon in
Yeah.
2016. Is I made business cards and people exchanged business cards. And a lot of people hugged each other too. It's like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
It was like a frat house or something. It was crazy.
Right. Yeah,
Every day though, for that weekend, people would be like, "Hey, Hug, what's up? Going on? Let's take pictures. Let's do this." Like it was
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
But then it all falls apart, Maria. Egos,
Well,
all
yeah,
kinds
that
of stuff. It all
And,
falls apart.
and
that
DJ here says once in a while the Pacific 414 Pop Talk team tolerates me on the panel. Actually, DJ, what it is I need you on here to keep my mind straight with Cash and Baron on the panel.
well, he's
Ba-
also our
But
scientific
like
advisor.
Barron's been the worst lately because it's just like yeah, he's just been crazy. I'm like, you know what, Mike? How can you stand it? What's going on with Barron? He's just like, I'm the king of the world. Like I'm just waiting for him to do his James Cameron moment or something. You know,
Oh my
You,
gosh.
you know Baron needs that attention.
he
So I
does.
I, I let him get that attention.
He does. He
But
needs
the thing is, Cash didn't tell you when he was at the TwitchCon and people were hugging. One of them left his
it.
wallet. So
That's so funny. Funny you mentioned that. I was just talking to what's his name? Gary Ambrosia.
hmm,
And he's like, you need to get out there and be in person. And I was like, oh my God, I'm terrified. It took me long enough to get in front of the camera, let alone meet some people in person. But it was actually really nice when I met a few, who were here in Colorado. And I got, when I got together with PJ and I got together with Matt Pranakashan, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of nice. It's fun. So he said, Ambrosia was like, you need to come out and come to these conventions and stuff like that. And I think I'm going to, that's another fear I'm going to just face and be out there in person. I'm always afraid I'm going to be that person that goes in the room and sits in the corner, just kind of sitting there looking around going, nobody's going to talk to me. But I think people are kinder than what we might give them credit for. So,
hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, especially when you get the right group of people here on the YouTube. You become a family. You might not be in
mm-hmm,
the same town or even the same country,
mm-hmm,
but you all click and you work great together. And I think it's even better than the old days where you were all in one spot and they gather all their talent at one spot, and you were limited. And now you're not. And then you start finding out that yeah, even across the United States, there's different cultures sometimes within the states, a different way of
mm-hmm,
thinking. There's 50 little countries within a republic, and but you learn, you grow, you have a fondness for it, you consider them family, brothers and
mm-hmm,
sisters. And I'd love nothing more than have a streamer convention somewhere where all of us kind of get together and do our shtick. I know people do that at other conventions out there, but
mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it'd be fun. It'd be fun. People would go around going, "Who are you again?" I'm Baron. I don't know who you are.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. That's what could happen to me too. I'll be walking in the room. I'm T and Telly, and then people were like, "Who?" Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Well, that's the funny thing too, that there's probably a number of streamers out there, and that's what they want. They want to go to an airport and they'll be like, "Oh, look who it is!" It's like
Right.
it's so amazing for them. Or they'll say, "Hey, I don't ever want to be YouTube famous or whatever the hell you want to call it." It's like it's so ridiculous to me. It's like, why would you even say that? Of course you do. You want that attention. You want people to say, "Oh, it's so amazing to see you," and it's like it's just embarrassing all the time. You know? Mhm.
Yeah. I was recognized once, first time at a post office. And I was like, I had been cleaning house. My hair was up in a ponytail. I was in sweats and the whole thing. And I'm always like, oh, God, I hope I don't run into, my high school friend or something. That's what I'm thinking, that I don't run into somebody that I know. And they'll be like, Lord, you let yourself go, girl. You need to. So I just, but I was recognized at a post office once. And this gal's like, oh my God, you're Maria. And I was like, did I drop my mail? I did. It didn't dawn on me. I didn't get it. And she's like, "Are you from Telly?" And I was like, Like, I'm frightened. I'm like, "Yes." And and I was like, "Oh god, shit, please don't take a picture." I'm thinking in my head, I didn't tell her this, but I was like, "Wow, yeah, thank you." And she happened to have her coffee mug with her, and she asked me to sign it, and I was like, "This is weird." And I'm just thinking it, and I just felt weird, but it was nice. It was nice, but it just reminds you that people are coming to your channel because they like what you're doing, so I wanna make sure to constantly do that. Mhm.
It's funny that you should say that. I had this kind of the same experience as you did. I was at the post office. I was recognized. They grabbed me and pointed at the poster on the wall, and it's something I did back in Peoria that I may not have done.
They said
Yeah,
they said, "Why are you back?" We said, "No, get out." I'm just kidding. Silly.
reward, huh? Okay. At least it wasn't one that did her alive. Oh, thank goodness. But but no, in all seriousness, though, yeah, it's kind of funny when you do get recognized. I had a little moments of fames here with some of the stuff I did in the past, and was still kind of when someone comes walking up to you, going, "Oh, you're," and you're using my real name, and it's like, Yeah," or someone goes, "I've seen you. I
Mhm.
know," It's like, okay, I know exactly what you mean, but when you start thinking about, all the people you've talked to in a professional way or interact with in the professional way, it's bound to happen. It's bound to
Yeah.
happen. You just hope you run into the nice ones. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's Baron. Let me get the pitchfork and the torches. We got some friends want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So, oh, Polly's minute. Hi, how you doing? Boy, you got some great people in the chat today. You have to sit back and say that. You bring out the best of YouTube, Maria. You really do.
Whatever. It's
Look
nothing.
at look at all these great people in the chat talking and saying hi and all that. So we,
Thank you.
well, I'm
Uh,
serious. I'm serious.
Thank
Don't
you.
embarrass her, Baron.
No, they
I'm
come. No,
being
they come.
serious.
No, it's funny. I think they come to count my snorts. How many times I
Oh,
snort.
Ah,
There's one guy who likes to come to the show and count how many times I snore through the show. And I'm like, okay. So
and
yeah.
that's the other thing. We all have our quirks, and they love to
Mhm.
see the quirks happen when we do it. It's like, aha, that's what they're known for.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
would love to go to a convention sometime, and I think I will. But what I'm preparing for is hopefully at some point, as you may or may not know, that we're still in the process of working on the comic book for me. My character that I did on my show, if you didn't know, is becoming a comic book. So, Lady Vampira. And so it's been really awesome. And the artist, David Cabeza, who did the Orville's comic book, is the artist for that. And I'm very honored to have that. So at some point, I hope to go to the convention as my character, Lady Vampira. That's going to be fun. But I should probably first show my mug just to say hi to everybody, let them know I don't bite and I'm real and, you know.
Well, I can see where they could be nervous when you have a name like Lady Vampira. And it's like, does she bite? Maybe no. We don't know. It's like,
No, no, I don't bite.
oh,
Let, yes.
I hope I have a blood type she doesn't like. Yeah.
Just, yeah, my thing is tacos. So if you smell like taco, I'm there, you know.
mm,
Don't
mm.
use cologne, that little taco on you. I might bite then because I got, tacos.
Who doesn't love a good taco?
I know, right? Exactly.
And of course, for me, the best of both worlds, taco pizza.
Uh-huh. That is good stuff. That is
Hmm.
good stuff. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I can remember my first trip back to San Diego, and that's where I'm originally from, and I could smell tacos in the air, and my friends were all, "What's the matter?" I said, Nothing. I just smell home. That's all.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that does well on my channel is a lot of the food stuff I do. Um, because I do love cooking, things like that. And so I started including my mom in there, Mama Telly. And so sometimes when I cook the Spanish foods and the Mexican foods, they do really well. And it's nice to have mom there with me. But um, it cracks me up every time I listen to myself on the video. Again, sorry, cat hair again. Is one thing I constantly say over and over again. Oh my God, it smells good. Oh my God, it smells good. If I broke down my videos and how many times I said that, but you gotta convey how awesome it smells. Like you said, it's just
Hmm.
food is everything.
Hmm.
It's just food is just something that brings people together.
Hmm.
It triggers memories, like you said. You smelled home. So for me, food is a way to connect with people. It's not
Hmm.
just, oh, this is a good way to make this dish. It is a way to communicate, another way to find a way to enhance time with your family, to
Hmm.
make something memorable, to make something good. And again, who doesn't love a good taco? The only problem is it hard shell or soft shell? I don't know, you know. So
I like both, but hard shells
Mhm.
are messy. But that's why it's
mhm,
called communion. I mean, you have
right,
yourself the dish all, and you commune with each other. You
hmm
eat, you dine, you drink, you talk, you laugh. Sometimes even get a little hot with each other, but still you're in communion with each other.
hmm
That's dinner table, supper table, breakfast table, some of the most important things you can have in your life. That's become really lost
hmm
in a lot
it
of
It,
people.
has,
it has
yeah,
because even around Christmas time, Thanksgiving, you know, being with your family, grandparents, cousins,
hmm
you know, aunts, uncles, and you're hearing stories about when they were growing up, or in certain cases, it's the uncles who were all brothers, recalling times where the other one or the other two actually got into trouble with mom and dad, and
right.
you're looking at them like you're acting like you were so innocent during your childhood, and here we're finding out you were a heathen.
Weren't I know? I think stories from your parents and their parents and other uncles and stuff is so fascinating because I find out so much information that way. It is good, and that's what food does. You fill up somebody's tummy with something delicious,
Mhm,
and it's almost like an aphrodisiac where they just become this talkative person and they start talking and things like
mhm,
that. And one of the things I do with my channel is, when I call it Tea and Telly, it was to try and come back to those days where we actually did things together as a family. Like you said, everybody's now on their phones at the table and they're just
mhm,
off having food separately. I don't have this family, but I don't have family, but when I go to visit my family, every time we get together and we have food, it's about that. Nobody has their phones out. Nobody's talking to somebody on the phone. It's just us and family time. But I love listening to stories from back then and finding out how my mom did things when she was a kid and,
mhm,
stuff like that. People are stories. And that's one of the things I love about doing on my channel is having people on because you get to hear their stories. When I go to visit my dad, he's in a home. When I go through there, as a Zen priest, I have this mentality. I'm always trying to be mindful of everybody around me. And so when I go through there, I'm mindful that this lady who's sitting there in this bed probably hasn't had anybody say hi or visit her in a long time. So I try to say hi
mhm.
to them and talk to them, interact with them. And their stories are amazing.
Hmm.
I love listening to their stories.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, I could remember back in 2002 going to Richmond, Virginia for 4 days bombardment group reunion because my grandfather was a B-17 pilot, and
Wow.
the last surviving member of my grandfather's crew was going to be there. So meeting him, hearing his stories, and all the men and women who were there telling their stories from their time over
Mhm.
in Europe during World War II,
Yeah.
you took it all in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. I just noticed in the chat, Gary, his ears must have been burning because he's in the chat now. Gary Ambrosia.
Mhm.
Hi. Hi, Gary.
Mhm. And his wife with the bunnies hopping around.
Mm. Um, the bunny hopped the other direction on that one, so
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
so yeah. But
Shows you how much I pay attention to stuff.
it's all right. Gary has a phenomenal studio, and if you
Oh,
have you seen, oh my God, I love his setup. I can't believe he did all that himself and built it himself. I love seeing that when you go to Doomcock and watch the show, and
hmm
he's that
Mhm.
setup is unbelievable. Gary, he's a talented guy.
oh yeah, he is. And when he reconstructs those artifacts from Hollywood crops
Mm,
and that stuff, it's just
yeah,
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah, and I mean, we need
amazing.
more people like that because this is
Hmm.
part of history. These
Hmm.
are relics that should be
Hmm.
out there so for us to be able to take a look at. And so many in
Absolutely.
Hollywood just say, "Okay, we just use it, but it's gone."
Yeah, yeah. No, I admire Gary for his work on that. It's unbelievable, and the Andy Masterson for the things that he
Yep.
creates,
Mhm.
and I'm excited that he's going to do a doll on me, and
Now,
so
now,
there's.
is it you or is it going to be your character?
I think I'm going to have him do my character instead.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't need a mini me. I'd rather have him do Vampira instead of me. So yeah, I'm excited to see Vampira's outfit come to life. So, but somebody's talking about cracking up not to groom my cats. Yes, I I did a show just a couple of weeks ago, and I felt bad because through the whole show I'm doing this trying to take out
Mhm.
that cat hair. I could not find that piece of cat hair through the whole show. I was picking my mouth. So sorry.
Oh no, I trust me. I got 2 cats, 3 dogs.
Oh,
In
so
fact,
you know.
yeah.
Oh,
In fact, right now I'm giving Honey some scritches,
oh.
not by her tail. She loves. It's kind of funny. A while back, petting her, and I started giving her butt scritches. Where the tail is, and she had
Mhm.
the most confused look on her face. What's that? What's that? Now it's like, oh, I want them all the time now. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they
she's our
learn.
lunkhead. Yeah,
They
she's
learn.
our lunkhead.
Oh gosh. So have I talked your ears off yet, guys?
Oh no,
Not yet, not yet.
yeah,
One
but
of the things I actually wanted to ask you, you had mentioned that you had done a few streams with PJ about the Orville, and I was just wondering what other movies and TV shows you like to enjoy.
You know, well, big supporter of Joseph Malazzi, Malazzi, from the start, the writer of Stargate and Dark Matter, and so follow him on Twitter. He's a very nice guy too. So I'm a big space girl. I'm not spacey. I like space. A big difference.
Mhm.
Um, so I like a lot of the Stargate stuff, and I do, of course, like Star Wars, the original, the originals.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm an original kind of gal, so I like the first few Star Wars.
You and me
Um,
both.
yeah, I like that. But I always there are shows that I hate falling in love with because you love them and then they go away, and
Yeah.
you're like, what? And they're like, oh, well, it didn't, it wasn't popular enough. It's like, the only way to make it popular is to put it there so we could watch it. And
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
what we were doing. So don't take it away from us. Because if they ever notice that once they take away a show, about a year or two later, it becomes super popular. And that's because
Hmm.
people started realizing it was there. Sometimes when a show comes out, you have no idea that it's there. You didn't hear about it, you don't know about it. And it's going to take a while for it to come to you and realize that there's this great show out there. So it might take
Hmm.
a year or two before it becomes more popular.
Hmm.
But so I'm always afraid to fall in love and have it taken from me. But
Yeah.
I have to say, I started when I was in my downtime. I was watching Apple TV, and because they had this great deal, 3 months free. And at first, I
Hmm.
didn't
Yeah,
like
I
Apple
just
TV.
recently signed up for that.
Did you? Well, at first, I had gone to Apple, and because I had gone for like a 7 week trial, and there was nothing on there. There was no shows. There was I'm like, why do people watch Apple? There's nothing on here except for the music. And so when they did that 3 months thing, I thought I'm just gonna give it a whirl, and I'm so glad I did because some of the shows I've been watching on there, mind blowing, and Apple stepped up their game with Silo.
Hmm.
And there's so many other Apple shows that I've been watching that are just unbelievable that I hope they keep continuing to do. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. You just started it, Mike?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And one of the reasons is because of the show called The Mighty Eighth, which is about a group of B-17 pilots who did the bombing runs during the daytime
Hmm.
and tells their story. And again, that relates to going back to Richmond in 2002 and, really taking pride in what my grandfather and so many people did during that time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do like documentaries and things like that. I think the way to learn and how to make our future better is to learn from the past.
Hmm.
So I think it's definitely a good thing.
Sadly, though, they want to go out there and muddy and erase the past
Hmm.
and and all this, and it's like and which of course is nothing new. It's nothing new
Hmm.
throughout. If you study history, you know there's nothing new in history, which is kind of ironic. Um, but it's like when people say about history, you know, being just written by the winners. It's like you obviously just don't know what history is. History
Hmm.
is far more than that, and history is
Hmm.
more than just reading one book.
Hmm.
It's like you can spend years, if not decades, on a particular subject, and
Yeah.
Hmm.
still just scratch the surface of it. And it takes you with a bunch of other people talking about it, and
Hmm.
to really get into what's this all about. So it's like, is I just hear that and I just want to, it's like Hulk must smash now with these people because it's like,
I
as an
know.
amateur historian myself, looking at the Viking era and even the during World War II, studying those things when I can, in Imperial Rome up to Nero. Uh, it's like you barely, it's like it's just wow, and you're reading partial manuscripts because so much got lost, but you got the surviving ones, and then you start grumbling, be like, I was just getting good, and it's gone,
I know.
uh, and it's just it's not easy work. It's not just written by the winners. If that was the case, the Vikings would have a lot more better press out there because
Yes.
because all we were getting was the English whining about it. Well, these guys came over and kicked our butts. It's like okay, sure, history is written by the winner.
Yeah, most of the time. Speaking of winter, that dog is just too adorable.
Oh yeah, this is BB. She's a Bochi. She's a half Chihuahua, half Boston Terrier.
Oh my
We like
goodness.
to Yeah, we like to call her a little taco, or she snorts, so she's our pig dog too.
So, oh my God. So she must walk like Perez, like what's her name, Perez, if she's half Chihuahua and half Boston. Like, what are
Yeah, I
you
mean,
talking about?
and
Um,
of course, when she wants to, she can get those big ears up, and
oh,
the
of
long suffering
course.
is here, and that's my wife, the long suffering Mrs. Tag, and she sees that
Uh,
that our dog is on the air. Mhm.
oh, sweetie. I had to shut my door so the cats wouldn't come in. So,
Oh,
um, some of the other shows I have, if you got that, Mike, you're gonna enjoy Slow Horses. Oh my God,
Okay.
that's unbelievable, unbelievably good. And also, there's one. You know what's amazing is a lot of these British actors are coming on doing American accents that you don't even
mhm,
realize that they're British. Wow, it's just wow. But Slow Horses, unbelievable. Silo, of course, is has been really good. There, I'm looking at the list of some of the other ones. I don't remember their names because that I have found on. Some of them I haven't seen yet. I'm trying to remember this one because you got to see it. It's unbelievable. Anyway, sorry, I'm going through the list over here trying
No,
to
no,
find it.
that's
yeah,
fine. That's fine.
But oh gosh, it's driving me nuts. But I also I have a degree in criminal justice, so I still have a
mhm,
love for forensic pathology, and so I watch a lot of forensic shows.
mhm. How many of those shows that they have out there is just pandering BS, and how much is actually right, as accurate as they can get? Because obviously there's legal
Hmm.
stuff out there. Thanks, Gary.
Hmm.
By the way, good seeing you, sir. But there's those ones that sensationalize, and there's the ones that, up
Hmm.
to what they can do, lay out the facts.
Hmm. Yeah, you do have a few shows that kind of tend to seem to do it for the shock value of it. And
Hmm.
that's kind of when you know that, is this believable or not? The shows I tend to like are the ones where they actually show the process of it. And
Hmm.
my thing is, I'm big on puzzles and solving them. So whenever I watch a forensic show, it's how they got to where they got through science and technology and good old fashioned detective work and things like that. So I'm not looking for shock value in that. It's just unbelievable how some things have been able to get solved over something so minute and minor, and so I'm just really into forensics and
Yeah,
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 yeah. It's amazing how just one little thing can change everything.
hmm
yeah, stuff like Castle, which I got into recently, and it's like, oh
hmm
look, there's something on Lifetime that's actually worth something. Oh, it's just an old show. Wow, okay. Um,
Castle is good.
Castle is quite good. Of course, CSI Miami, they did a lot of forensic stuff in that, and also New
Hmm.
York. Um, but I haven't watched any more forensic shows in a long time. I don't know,
Well,
but those are the ones I used to watch. I
I'm
can't really.
watching the
Yeah.
real ones
Yeah.
that are like
Uh huh.
New Detectives and
Uh huh.
Hmm.
I got you.
Forensic
Yeah.
Files and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I do enjoy a good show
Hmm.
that does have a lot of the good science in it.
No. Yeah. I don't know if we have. I don't. We've got like thousands law and order shows.
I
Excuse me.
know, right?
Law and
There
Order
are.
like never runs away. I think they'll just put these people like their heads like in Futurama, and they just continue on forever. No,
I know there are a lot of those. Which one is it where they have like Miami and Florida and they have all the different states of
Yeah,
yeah,
CSI.
they've
PSI?
got they're doing CSI now, and they've got CSI. They went to another
NCIS.
country and NCIS. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I
There's a
think there
lot of
might
them.
still be some CSI, but definitely NCIS just keeps going on and um
Mm-hmm.
Some of the family I knew of the creation of NCIS and Magnum PI and some of those other people.
Mhm,
They were nice, but
mhm.
Bizarro. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He gave
There
us a lot of
was
memories.
there
Hmm.
was a show called Lie to Me that I liked a lot, and,
Oh yeah.
Oh
did
yeah,
you
I
see that?
remember hearing that show. Yeah,
I really liked that one. So,
but I don't think there's as many forensic shows on as much anymore. There's a few, but
Mhm.
And
yeah.
of course, we've got a question from Dr. Omega asking you, Maria, what did you think of the Minority Report with Tom Cruise, where they had the Department of Pre-Crime?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna shame myself here, Dr. Omega, because I didn't see that.
it's all right.
Well, it's something you
Um,
would expect from Philip K. Dick, but then you also have the book, "The Stars." No, not "The Stars, My Destination." What's the other one? There's a "Demolished Man" by Alfred Bester, where you have the mental investigation, where using psychic abilities to figure out who the killer is. Also,
yeah,
with that one, great book if you ever find it. Alfred
yeah,
Bester,
that'd
"Demolished
be
Man."
awesome. Well, I do like my I don't my cheese TV. I'm a cheese kind of gal. I still like to watch Hey Arnold and
I've heard of that show. Yeah,
Snoopy, and I used to watch That's So Raven.
yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing
Drake and
wrong
Nothing
with
wrong with
that.
Josh.
that at all.
Nothing.
Drake,
Okay,
Drake and
Maria.
Josh.
Here's the big test. You can't do that on television.
Yes, I do.
Well, it's funny, like seeing like what these shows for teenagers are, or these shows
Mhm.
Saved by the Bell. There's things. It's like, wow, they still have good values. Where is
Yeah.
this Nickelodeon? Like, why is this gone away?
Yeah,
Like, where? Let's have these shows come back that have values again, that
yeah,
can help people through their lives.
yeah.
People can say what they want about He-Man and Voltron and all kinds of stuff, but there were values in there. There was
Mhm,
teamwork, all
mhm,
kinds of stuff. Same with
mhm,
Power Rangers, other
mhm.
stuff. We really need that to come back into our lives. We've gotten away from that.
We
We
really
have.
have, actually. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
I miss that. I think that's why a lot of times, most of the time, my TV's on classic TV
Yeah.
Mhm.
because I miss that time.
Yeah.
It was a good era. I mean, I watch a lot of Three's Company,
Yeah,
but
that's all right. Yeah,
if
that's
I
on
were
Love
Spectrum
that
looking,
show.
now
I
too.
love it.
Yeah.
I even like
Yeah.
the Ropers.
The Ropers wasn't bad either. They
No.
just didn't balance things right. But yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
Well, it
liked
was more of a
Three's
time thing.
Company. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Dukes of Hazard.
good
Yeah, that
times.
has a that has good values. Good times has good values.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel
Alice.
Hogan.
Anybody watch Alice?
Yeah, I used
I
to watch
wasn't a big
Alice as
one, even
well.
though I like Vic
Yeah,
Payback. I wasn't much of an
yeah,
Alice fan.
yeah. But it
Yeah.
also triggers a lot of memories too, because I find that I put it on a certain classic channel while I'm cooking because it reminds me of being at home with my mom as a little girl, and she would cook while
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
would watch these channels. And so now I go and cook, and I have that in the background. But I do miss those times of
Hmm.
TV being so where it was just fun, silly
Yeah,
fun.
It
that's what's
was.
so great about Pluto TV. I love
Hmm.
Pluto TV
I
because
love
they have all
Pluto.
that. Mhm.
That's what I have on all the time too. And I'm like, okay, I've got this TV that does high definition. I'm watching 480p TV shows. Yay me!
Well,
But they got Star Trek on it.
It does.
because
Yeah.
because it just shows how these new shows, we can't get even things like Agents of Shield. Like, I would like some really good Marvel show again, but we
Mhm.
can't get that. I love a really good DC show, and even when you go back and watch some of the newer stuff, the CW stuff, you're like, okay, you guys have something here. Let's continue. Nope. Then it has to go into this whole ridiculous agenda, which should never have been what the characters were, and it just continues. And people say, "Oh, this is really good entertainment." It's like, is it though? Most people don't even care for it. I mean, even the new Star Wars shows, they get one season. Is that a win for people? I guess.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, I don't know. It's become so difficult, which is sad. I just wish things would be a little bit easier. I mean, we had silly shows like the what's that guy with the blonde hair? He was a horrible superhero. Um,
Oh, Greatest
oh,
American Hero.
yeah,
yeah.
Greatest American Hero. Yep.
it
Yes,
was
that guy. That was
goofy.
a
It
good.
was
That's a good
fun.
show. Yeah, it was a fun show, and it
Hmm.
still had values
Right.
in it. It's
Yeah, it
Hmm.
did. And it
And
was, he didn't care. It
no.
was just fun. It was good. It had good values. You just enjoyed it, and that was that.
well,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
even watching classic shows like Hogan's Heroes,
Mm-hmm.
that
yep.
was
Mm-hmm.
funny.
Hogan's Heroes, yeah.
Colonel Hogan. Colonel Hogan. I saw nothing. I saw nothing. Colonel Hogan.
And you guys don't have to admit it in here that I know you watch Golden Girls, and that's okay. But you don't have to
Actually,
say it out loud.
Actually,
Cash
yeah,
did.
yeah, yes, I
I've
do. Yes, I
I've
do.
I've watched Golden
Eh,
Girls
eh,
before, but it's not
eh,
one of my favorites.
eh,
But
eh,
I understand why
this
people like it.
this is why my my grandmother on my mom's side loved Golden Girls. So if I was at her house, we were watching Golden
The
Girls. If
Golden
she
Girls.
came over to my parents' house to watch my sister and I, what was she watching? Golden Girls and Empty Nest.
Oh, Empty Nest. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Empty.
emptiness.
that was.
One day
Robert
at a
Mulligan, rest his
time.
soul.
Oh,
Hmm.
One day at a
Give
time.
me a break. That was
Give
one
me
of
a
her
break.
favorite shows.
Oh God, yes. I love that. Yeah, I love all those and miss them all. So I like to
Hmm.
watch those a lot. So I feel bad when people are like, "Oh, this is, we're gonna talk about this current culture stuff," and I get all nervous. I'm like, "Oh my God, I've been watching classic shows so much that I have no idea what's out there."
Yeah, that's why I don't say I'm a pulp culture crusader much or whatever, because I'm
that's
not up with the newer stuff. But
well.
talk about the old stuff.
That
Yeah.
that's
Awesome.
why all you have to say when
You
you're
know,
on those panels, it's like, is it woke? Is it not woke? What pandering is there? What agenda is
no,
this?
no, no,
Just
no,
add on
Cash.
to it.
You go on to one of these shows where they're talking about the current show, and you go, this reminds me of a show that we had in Saint Olaf.
There you go. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
Well,
Oh,
yep.
we were always proud of the shows that were supposedly from Minnesota, like Mary Tyler Moore and Coach, and all. Hey,
It's
Minnesota,
just
yay!
it's just funny. I mean, shows like, and there's even some shows like Anonymous, and I like this show. Of course, I know Baron likes to say, "Oh, I hate that show," but um, there's you find yourself watching older shows like Friends, but I also find myself
Oh,
watching Family Matters. Yeah, I just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, this show just
well,
is so good.
which
I
one was
find
that a
my
spinoff of?
that
That
was
Perfect
It was,
Strangers.
Perfect
Perfect
Strangers.
Strangers.
Yes,
yeah,
Perfect
Perfect
Strangers. Okay.
Strangers.
yeah.
Yes, and so when they always complain about, we didn't have these kind of characters and I can't see myself as this character, it's like, did you watch this show ever? Did you ever try this?
Hmm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just, are you really this stupid, or are you just dumb? I don't know. It's like, and so they say like, this stuff is great and it's great. It's We even had a small little group, and we were like, "Oh, Arcane season 2 is coming out. Oh man, look at how good season 1 turned into. Oh, I can't wait." And so like the first 2 episodes, it's like, okay, this is, oh, what the hell happened? And then
Hmm.
we start finding more and more information. They change writers. They change. Okay, so that explains a lot why this season is such a mess.
Mhm.
Well,
And
I
most
mean,
people, yeah,
well, I mean, that was one of the great things about Cheers. That was literally a little show that could.
it's a
It came
great
so
show.
close to,
Yeah,
but it came so
Mhm.
close to getting axed. But Brandon Tartikoff's, I believe, wife liked the show, so they kept it around, and it became such a giant. And it's just a simple show, and
Mhm.
it could have kept
yeah,
on
Mhm.
going.
just
And not become old, because it's just like we're talking about before with sitting at the table with communion. We got the public house and everyone together and talking and
Mhm.
yep.
having those interchanges back and forth. And yeah, and it's like there's no reason, no wonder why that show was popular and we loved
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
Yeah.
I mean, we can all relate to this where when shows aired once a week,
it.
we didn't have streaming, and
yeah,
you'd watch the latest episode of a show like MASH, Friends, or whatever it was,
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
and then the next day at work or next day at school, did you see what happened?
Yes.
The to be continued.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because stuff like NBC actually used to have stuff that you would be considered must-see TV, and however
Yeah.
you feel about shows like dinosaurs and this and that, they were trying different things. Same with
Yeah.
Third Rock from the Sun. They were always
Mhm.
trying different things, but
Mhm.
now shows are just there's like this formula, and it's just like we need to have this and we need to have this, and it's crazy. We don't get stuff like in living color anymore. We don't get
Oh my
things like
gosh. Yeah.
Family
Hmm.
Matters anymore. There's like one show now which is like connected to the Big Bang, which has like hu- family values, but there's not a lot of shows anymore that have family values. They just
Well,
don't care. That's not a big deal to them anymore. And they,
little Sheldon's over with now, though,
yeah,
isn't it?
but now they have Georgie and Mandy's first marriage
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever. So
Oh,
they
Oh
okay.
just
yeah.
they spin off, yeah. But
I
there's
never heard
not
of it.
no, no, it's okay. So there's not like many shows, and even like I was talking, Phil McCracken, I know is in channel, but we were talking. It's like you watch stuff of Chuck Lorre, all it is just sex, 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 which is fine. But even like Two Broke Girls, if you ever tried that show, you're
Mhm.
like, why is the writing so awful in this show?
Hmm.
It's just awful.
I'm
It
sorry, I have
really
to say,
is.
I never say anything bad about stuff, but this I have to now that you brought that up. You're right. I always wonder how in the heck did they last 6 freaking
Yeah.
seasons, but yet you have a really
I
awesome show that was canceled after 1.
Yes.
Well, I
Um,
Yep.
don't mean to be crude here, Maria, but it happened to be two things on one lady. That's
oh,
my
I
point.
know. I
Yeah,
was about to say that, but didn't want I was like,
I
I was
went there
gonna
for you. I
say
went there for you.
serious yeah, because the writing was horrible,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I just
It's
don't
awful.
understand how it lasted so long. It really upsets me to think that that was the reason why, because how
Hmm.
many TNT jokes can you make that
Yeah.
make it last 6 seasons? Really? So,
Hmm.
there's
Yeah.
my bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People are like,
No.
"Ah, Maria, wow." 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I mean, I can barely watch like even the Jamie Foxx show is very funny, and I'm like, and you hear these jokes like they wouldn't try these jokes today. I hope they would.
mm-mm,
Now maybe things are shifting a bit, but
yeah,
who knows? It's just like, can we get a show again like Jamie Foxx where
mhm,
he's saying these things to a woman and what she says to him, and we go back and forth, and it's just
Yeah.
funny, and these situations are funny, but there's like once again good messages in there, and yes,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Tree Rock, the writer's strike, especially the second
Oh
one,
yeah.
then things got crazy. It's like there's some reality shows out there that are probably worth watching, but even like Survivor, as long as it's going on, and like Amazing Race, they start doing some pandering stuff. At first, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Maybe this is gonna go somewhere, and then they have Teen Mom, and you're just like, oh, these shows are awful, but people are gonna
16
keep
and
watching
pregnant.
them. Yeah, 16 and Pregnant.
Mhm.
And it's just crazy.
But
Um,
yeah,
mhm.
but the funny thing is you can have a crude show like Married
Yeah.
with Children, and it
Yes.
still had good values.
Yes, it
No
did.
matter
Hmm.
what, they were still
somewhere
Yes.
in there, they were
That's
there.
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And
Yep.
it was the anti-Cosby. In fact, not the Cosby Show was originally going to be called. But
Yeah.
the thing is after everything, it's like, well, that was more of a normal family, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You go back and watch shows like A Different World, and like there's value
Hmm.
still in that.
Mhm. Even the
Um,
Jeffersons.
yeah, there's
Oh yeah,
definitely
Yeah.
values in that.
God oh my!
Yep. Yep. Well, yeah.
Jeffersons. Oh my
The
Two two
goodness.
good
seven.
times. 2 oh
I
my gosh, yeah,
I never
227.
watched that one.
I watched
I
that.
never did watch that one.
But
And I was one of those.
It's great.
Honestly, I didn't watch. I never watched Golden Girls because I didn't have control of the TV. So
yeah.
it's whatever. No, I mean, I'm sure there's many of us who go back and say, "Who controls the remote? Controls the TV?" And usually it was the older quote unquote alpha. Yeah.
It's
Okay, Dad. But the Goldbergs. I mean, I
that
because
was based on a real life
yeah,
family too. The
yeah,
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 crazy. I think Modern Family was too. I think there was
Yeah.
stuff
yeah,
about realistic stuff in
yeah.
there
It
too.
was based off of I believe Christopher Lloyd, not the actor, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
the producer and all that, and stuff that
And
they
and I
encountered.
watched that show and I'm like, well, you know what? The best thing about this is Ed O'Neill. It's just every time
Oh
he
yeah.
just and everything else about that show, and I'm like, I just go, I don't really find this all that funny. I remember also watching a show like Blackish before, and I was like, I
uh,
don't get this. I don't
no,
I just I
No.
don't get a lot of these
it's
newer shows anymore. I
it's
just don't.
degrading humor. I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
degrading in the sense of,
Exactly.
uh, you guys are scum, kind
Mhm.
of degrading. But
Yep.
A
Mm.
Modern Family did have one of the greatest lines ever, and I can't remember what it was, but Ed O'Neill sitting there talking to the camera goes, "And that was my Vietnam, and I was in Vietnam." And it's like hysterical. I mean, it's
Yes.
like, okay, you can see somebody say,
Yep.
and that's what it is. A line like that, you could actually see somebody saying,
Yep.
especially someone like
Mhm.
this character.
Yep. Omega,
But we'll get.
there was really no values with Honey Boop.
Oh God.
Oh God, come on! Didn't the
Come
mother
on,
die?
man.
The, the only thing they
Just
cared
don't
about was
act like
winning
these
pageants.
people.
Oh my God!
Eesh, that
Yep.
was
I
tragic.
Falcon Crest, Dallas,
Yep,
of
yep,
course,
yep.
well,
My
back in
parents
the
would watch those too.
Heart
of
to heart.
course of course, a big thing was, even though
heart
it
to
was
heart.
only 2 seasons, but Twin Peaks,
Hmm.
that was a big deal for a while. Still, then it
Hmm.
came
Well,
back, and of course, David Lynch has passed away because he probably would have
you
lived
know,
a lot longer, but
stomach
he was a smoker
cancer.
and stuff. Yeah.
I think it was stomach
Mhm.
cancer that got him. But well, what
Mhm.
about the Flash series 1990? That was a great show.
I haven't watched that in so long. I
Oh,
might
I
have to go back
yeah,
and watch that. Yeah.
I just unpacked it. I'm gonna sit back and have a little marathon. I think.
Quantum Leap
Nice.
was a good show
It
too.
Oh, that
was.
one.
It is a
Mhm.
good show. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just it. It just doesn't take much. Just like you were saying, Tilly, it just you start watching all these old things. It gets that uh, well nostalgia for one, but for me also it gives me a little disgust thinking they can do it then. Why can't they do it now?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
at least we have those, and we can introduce them. We can introduce them to Newhart, and
Yeah.
hi,
Yes.
I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl. You know,
Hmm.
That's great. Yeah. Well, it's up to us to make changes, I guess, and that's one of the things that we can do with our status, and why we try to achieve one is so that we
hmm
have a voice and that we can help make changes.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that I try to do is
hmm
to use my channel as a good platform to help people make good choices, to think about things, to highlight people, bring out the best in them. And so my channel is definitely all about that, is to help people remember the good things and to bring out the good
hmm
things. And that's what I hope to do. A place to go when they get tired of the arguing and complaining and
hmm
bashing and all that stuff. So
I'll one up you. How about Bizarre, where Super Dave Osborne got his big launch? Who was also what's his name? Oh, Brooks, Albert Brooks's brother. Is Super Dave
Yeah.
Osborne.
That's
It
right.
kind of, I guess this is kind of tying to a little bit. You talking about with the healing stuff like that, and you were mentioning earlier about being. Forgive me. I hope I'm saying it right because I'm just trying to remember what you said. Zen priestess, and how does that relate here? Because this sounds kind of interesting. I have to admit that there's a whole level of ignorance on my side, so my ears are open. I mean,
yeah, how that works. Well, I spent about 10 years studying to be a Zen priest, and so
hmm
I did it mostly again to help people as well. That's all I ever do.
hmm
Um, it was it was because I wanted to learn the meditation, because meditation was helping with pain relief and
hmm
stress and sleep and all those other things, since the meditation we do, Zen meditation, is very physical. But it was also a great way to help others
hmm
as well. And so a lot of the things that I do is obviously, as a Zen priest, we have a vow to help people and animals and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so, but I do teach meditation. I am ordained, fully ordained, so I can do weddings and teach and do this and that and the other. But I enjoy it.
Is this, you talk about the meditation. Does this go also into the area of like yoga?
Um,
Or
there's not yoga in it. It's just strictly the
okay.
meditation part.
Hmm.
Because meditation, the one is again very physical. It's about body posture
Hmm.
and being aware of your body posture and just kind of um, you know, being there at the moment. And I think that's the other thing that people tend to forget a lot with all the noise in the world. There's so
Hmm.
much noise. There's so much noise. They don't have time to be quiet. And that's
Hmm.
all the meditation is oh, kitty, that's my weak spot. um, no one takes the time to actually sit for a little bit and just be there with themselves with no chatter and clutter and this and that and the other. And I think people tend to be afraid to sit and have to sit there with themselves for a while because it's not always fun.
No.
But it's very healthy. It's a very good thing to do.
Well, would it be wrong for me to say that sometimes the most noise that we have in our life is between our ears? Our
Hmm.
brain,
Hmm.
is constantly running, you're going through the whole list of whatever it is, and we just don't know how to shut the brain down or tell it to
Hmm.
shut up for a few moments. The
Yeah.
thing that, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wake up. One of
Yeah.
the things I get a lot from people is, "Oh, I can't meditate because I can't shut my brain down." And then my first thing is I always say it's probably a good thing you don't shut your brain down because you'd be dead. Okay,
Mhm.
so the thing is that you're human. So in the meditation, when you're teaching people, is yes, you're going to have thoughts. You're going to be thinking of stuff. The point is not to. And by saying not to doesn't mean go blank and you're just like, oh, I can't think of this. It's
Mhm.
to acknowledge that it's there, but then you let it pass. If you have a thought, if you're like trying to solve a problem and you have a thought and it comes through and you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm aware, I've got to do that, but I don't want to think about you right now. And then you just kind of let it pass by. And so
Mhm.
you're going to be having thoughts, but this is the place where you find those answers that you're looking for. Like when you're talking to somebody and you bring up a song and you're like, oh, what was that song? What was that song? And you can't think of it and you can't think of it. But then all of a sudden you notice when you're like sitting there driving your car going home, you think of it because you're quiet. You kind of
Mhm.
you stop thinking so hard and so much. So it helps your thought process a little bit more. And but no, there's no yoga in this one. It's
Okay.
just certain postures that you sit into. So people
Mhm.
think of yoga because there's the lotus position you get into,
Mhm.
but it's meant to sit you down into a tripod so that you're kind of sitting at a certain angle, and that's why they do that. Every movement that is done in meditation with Zen meditation is done for a particular reason, not because it's anything fancy or magical. It's because it makes you mindful. Like when we put our hands in a position when we're meditating, we have to put the strong hand in front. I'm right-handed, so it's going to go in front, and you put your thumbs together like this. So when you're sitting in meditation, you're sitting, with your hands like this, and your thumbs are touching. And people will think, "Oh, well, that's so holy and stuff." It's like, no, it's to remind you that you're there, because when your mind starts drifting, your thumbs start coming down, and then you're like, oh, okay. And you got to remember, if they're pushed up like this, that means you're too tense to loosen up. So every movement has a reason for it, nothing magical. It's just about being there and being aware of your posture. I'd like to do yoga, but I don't know if I'm ready to turn myself into a pretzel just yet.
No, so in some ways, it's like you're filofaxing stuff. The things come in, it's like, no, 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 you're going here. We're going here
Hmm.
because this is what we're going to focus on now. We'll come back
Hmm.
to you later. Don't worry. This,
Exactly.
Hmm.
You're not ignoring it. You're not trying to make something magical happen with it. What you're
Hmm.
saying is you acknowledge it, but I'll deal with you in just a little bit. And then when you go deal with it, you've had the opportunity to think, and then you're like, I know what to do now. I know how to solve this. One of the things I've always taught in, for some of you who've been in my sitting or something, would be like, oh, she's going to tell a story again. No, I explain it the way this is. You have a glass full of water and you have mud in it. And when you shake it and shake it, that mud is everywhere, everywhere. But when you
Hmm.
set it down, what happens to the mud? It goes down to the very bottom, and on the top is nice and clear. That's the
Hmm.
same thing with your mind. Your mind is full of stuff, full of information, full of everything. But when you
Hmm.
sit for a second, everything settles, and then your mind is clear and you can think. That's why ninjas did a lot of meditation, and that's how they move so fast, because they know what's coming with what's happening, because they've had time to clear their mind and there's no noise there to
Hmm.
fog it up.
So, I mean, kind of a crude way to say it, you're kind of doing like a programming with your brain to, going in there and kind of running the software, to get,
Yep.
I don't know. I could be right off of it, but you basically, what do they call that? You're doing the virus checks and all that, making
The
sure everything's
virus
in the
check.
right spot.
Yeah, basically you are being aware of your body quite a bit.
Hmm.
Sitting is very physical. I went to a retreat, and
Hmm.
a week long retreat, and in that retreat you do not get to speak at all, um, only to your sensei,
Hmm.
and you do everything together and at the same time, and it's 8 hours of sitting.
Wow.
Is it 8 hours straight through? No, luckily it's not. You do get up for some stretches, and then you do have lunch and things like that, and everybody's
Hmm.
assigned a job and you do it. But that's a long time to sit there with yourself.
Oh no.
But it's a very physical one, because by day three,
Hmm.
I was literally in tears, going, "Oh my God, this is painful. It hurts. Your body is hurting so bad
Hmm.
by that time." But so it's very physical, and you tend to learn flexibility
Hmm.
by sitting in these certain positions. Your body becomes more flexible and stuff like that. But it's more of awareness. It's just a kind of, it's pretty much just calm down, slow down, listen for a little bit, listen to
Hmm.
yourself, and instead of ignoring things. But we're so used to chatter and everything.
Right.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, I couldn't even sleep unless I had the TV on. I'd have to have it on, like a Vincent Price movie or something, to go to sleep.
Hmm.
I needed that noise. Why? And so I started learning how to kind of get myself out of doing that, to learn to sleep in silence, so to say.
Yeah, sometimes being silent is a wonderful thing, but with
Hmm.
society nowadays, everyone's got their nose in something and doing something. Like you were saying earlier when we're talking, they're on the phones at supper time, which is kind of a
Hmm.
violation of a holy spot in your house. And
Hmm.
now you're trotting all over that. Or
Hmm.
it's like. Uh, you get this sense that you got to keep on doing something, or you're
Right.
doing something wrong. That if you
Hmm.
stop and do
Hmm.
this, you're lazy,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
which is not.
Yeah. It is hard for us to sit still. If you ever notice, like your cat is this, they come to you when you're
Mhm.
still. They like that. They like that stillness. And every time I meditate, the cats all get, the cat all gathers around and they sit on your lap, and they just sit there and enjoy that moment.
Hmm.
And I
Wa-
think,
Was it Buddha that was very appreciative of cats? I can't remember. Was it Buddha?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they all the monks and stuff. There's a lot of
Hmm.
places where they have sanctuaries for cats.
Hmm.
And yes, the Buddha was a teacher, and
Hmm.
he taught that. And but yeah, they were all, there's a lot of animal lovers within the Zen Buddhist community. So
Right. Um, where out of exactly which culture did this really come out of? Like was it like out of Japan, China, uh,
actually, no, it came out of India at first.
India? Okay.
And then the Buddha came in to learn it, and then brought it in to, so it kind of went into Japan and China, and then
Hmm.
all over. So it has a lot of so Buddhism is definitely a combination of a lot of different cultures. However, there's one thing that always stays the same, and that is just the same type of information that the Buddha taught. And basically, it's all about. Since he was a teacher, he was not a god. But most people tend to think that you pray to the Buddha. You don't. He was a
Hmm.
teacher, and all he taught was, gee, I don't know, be good to people. Treat them well. Don't steal things. Don't do this.
Hmm.
Don't do that. So basically, it's just a way of life. And it wasn't like you were going to go to hell if you did that. It was that if you steal from somebody, you're hurting that person.
Hmm.
And you don't, why would you want to hurt somebody?
Right.
So it's just an example of everything you do has something that will come back at you, and it's what they call,
Hmm.
some people would say is karma.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yep,
what you
yep,
put
yeah.
comes
Right.
back. It's like karma. So it's just a matter of, don't hurt people, don't do this and that, stuff like that, and don't talk bad of people and whatever,
Hmm.
because it comes around and it hurts people and it's bad. It just makes more chaos in your life.
Right.
And we don't need chaos, do we?
No,
No, no,
no.
because chaos is destruction. Order builds stuff, but chaos
Mm-hmm.
destroys.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, we're living chaotic times.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope we get more orderly times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In
More
a sense,
stable times.
right? Exactly. More humane time, you might say, where we're
Mm-hmm.
better to each other
Yeah.
than what we have been. But I guess that's kind of the trap that humankind keeps on getting itself into.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Maria, before we wrap up tonight's show, is there anything else that you'd like to tell our audience? And
Well, if you are coming here because you're one of my viewers, please make sure you subscribe to everybody on here and enjoy their show as well. And if everybody has, I'm sure that throughout the link, somebody's been posting everybody's channel. So make sure to subscribe. I had to go make sure that I'm subscribed as well. So, and I do appreciate you bringing me on here, as it's been another step of a healing process towards getting myself going and having this talk. And you've all been so great. And it's
I think
been,
I think I can speak for all of us. We'd love to have you come back and talk some more. You're a lovely
yeah,
guest, and
I,
you're
I,
wonderful.
I definitely would. And there's one
thank
thing
you.
that I've told all our guests that we've had here. Whenever someone is invited to be a guest here on Pop Talk, I want to make sure first and foremost that the guest is comfortable.
You've all been incredibly gracious, and it's been very, very good. I do appreciate that. Because I have come across a couple of times where I've been a guest and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And I just
Mhm.
exit left. And I just kind of have to, but you've all been very gracious. It's been a fun conversation. And I
Yeah,
would love to come back. And I'm sure that I will have, it would be nice to maybe have some of you guys come join me for some fun on D and Telly sometime.
I'd love
Um,
to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah,
I would absolutely love to.
yeah, that'd be good. And,
Just as long as I'm not with Cash, we still have that fight going on.
well, maybe I'll have to. One thing about our community is that we each have different talents that we can
Mhm.
all get from it. And just looking at some of the stuff you have, it's like, oh, I got to ask him how he did that. I got to ask. So be prepared for that.
Hmm.
And I also have a character I'm doing called Francesca, and I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's kind of silly, but it's a little, Fran dressery, but Francesca is a psychic, and she likes to read from a crystal ball. And she's got callers that come in, and she's got, to tell them about their love and all this other beautiful stuff. And so it's kind of fun. And she dresses a little crazy. And she's from, people always say she's from Jersey, but no, she's from Kansas. So stop saying she's from Jersey. She's from Kansas. So she's a lot of fun, and so sometimes she kind of needs help on her show, on her radio show called K How Radio. So I might have to reach out to one of you guys to come help Francesca in her little show.
I love
Uh,
it. I love it. That's beautiful.
So anyway, thank you so much for being
oh,
gracious and awesome,
you're
and I'll
you're
reach out
you're
to you.
absolutely welcome, Maria. And Francesca, you know, hearing you do that New York accent, it just brings a smile to my face because
That was
someone
Joyce.
very special to me who, like I said, you know,
It's,
she would have celebrated her 75th birthday today,
oh,
and my mom was originally from the New York, New Jersey area, and
really?
so
Oh God.
it just brought a smile to my heart
Oh,
because certain things you said, you sounded just like her.
really? Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
I'm glad. I mean, she's supposed to make people smile and stuff, so that's what I liked about it. I like doing that character. So thank you for saying that. It means a lot to me. Um, yeah, I'm not even from there, and I just watched a lot of Fran, and I love.
Fran
Yeah.
Drescher.
Well, what was funny is, I used to do my old mock New York accent, and my mom was like, "Why are you trying to do the New York accent?" I said, "Because I got New York blood in me, ma."
That's funny. I know. But when somebody told me what accent I was doing, I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it from Jersey. Are you serious? Oh my God. I didn't even, you know. so, so it's been a lot of fun. And then what was funny is I was writing stuff f- uh, for the show, Francesca. And as I'm sitting there, I'm watching Fran, and it was hilarious because I had these slippers on, and I'm looking at my slippers, and I'm looking at the TV, and her robe matched my slippers at that moment, and I took a picture of it because I was like, "This is hilarious." But it was so funny. But so yeah, I'd love to reach out to you guys too, and maybe have
Oh,
you
oh,
join me, and I think
Mhm.
it'd be a lot of fun.
oh, definitely. We got to have you on before the end of the year because the reason I mentioned the end of the year is for the last couple of years, I've had a stream at the end of the year where I've invited everybody who's been on Pop Talk as a guest during the year to come back, and we just talk about the year as it was and have a good
Yeah.
time.
That's what it's about. Thank you. Yeah, it's been great. And thank you, Lady Mist. You're wonderful as well.
Well,
And everybody who's been supportive of me from the beginning. They hold a lot in my dear heart for that. Thank you.
Thank you, and Baron. If there's anything you'd like to promote before we get out of here, please go ahead.
I really don't know, but definitely Monday there will be going back to Afghanistan, my comrades. Yes, my good comrades, we are going to be doing some border patrolling there on contraband police. We're going to be trying to keep all your Western American stuff out of that country, like your cigarettes and your cheap alcohol. Make sure we have the good ones and pure vodka, and your funny money. We're trying to keep your counterfeit money out. So please join 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, your American Central Standard Time, you capitalists. And on the Baird and Orman tags, a fandom legacy. Da,
Da.
Nastrovia. Da Svidania.
Vila good. Oh, wait, wrong language. Sorry.
And I don't know what's going on between me and Cash. I don't know what's going on with Jace tomorrow. So,
All right,
Jason's supposed to have a show tomorrow, so.
supposed to. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've left
all
out
right.
of the loop.
But I don't
There
know.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know.
Well, let me get Jace's link just in case
Yeah,
he
yeah.
does end up
And
having a show. And
so if there is a show tomorrow, that's going to be over at 540 Studio. Jace Fox's 40 studio, I should say, and it's called The Beyond. That's where you're going to find Jace Fox, myself, Cash Monet, Kilton Cajun, Prismatics, uh, let's see, Whoopa Toopa, Whoopa Whoopa, and
If he's
Hoshi.
on there,
And
yeah, yeah,
yeah, maybe they'll be there, maybe not.
maybe not.
And oh yeah, and Tom, the Techno Sapien, I have to make sure I say that right, or people are still going to say, well, what? Huh? So please join us tomorrow. That's anywhere between 6 and 6:30 Central Standard Time over at Jace Fox's 540 Studio, The Beyond. So,
And I'm just waiting for his channel link to come up, and then I'll put it in the chat. And
it's the
Cash,
missing link.
while I'm waiting for that, go ahead and promote what's coming up on the Phantom Hooligans.
All right, let's see. Well, what was it? 2 weeks ago, Marvel Rivals went kablooey because of the lag
You, get,
nonsense. That was fun.
you had a hamster in your computer.
But since I'm the coach, Baron Orman Tagge, you need to put some more time into the Marvel Rivals.
Oh,
55 minutes is not enough, Mr. Tagge.
Really? Uh-huh. Listen, this is what I got to put up with all the time. See, this is the fun that you're missing that we have here. If we want to call it fun.
But yeah, so that'll be at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Friday, and we'll see how that goes. But over on the Phantom Hooligans and also Cash Money 007 on Twitch, so I do the simulcast for the live streams. That's right. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. This time, I think I'm going to try it through Xbox Series X because right now it seems like my computer's having some issues with that game. So I have to another reason to upgrade. But I think it'd be silly to upgrade for a game that is free to play. So more reasons.
Well, you're going to need to upgrade anyways, buddy.
I know. So we'll
it as a sign.
We'll see how that goes. If Baron messes up, we'll just sacrifice him to the gods or whatever. It'll be fine. So
I'm ready. I'm ready to be sacrificed. Not the first time, not the last time.
Remember, Baron, play Punisher. He's very easy to play.
I got Punisher. Yeah, well, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can,
55 minutes. I know. Yes.
Punish you.
But,
wait till we do secret game. I will be your you know what.
Anything else, Cash?
Nope, that's all right now. So
all right.
He still said he's losing the penny.
Yeah.
And first, before I promote what's coming up on Pacific414, once again, I wanted to say thank you very much to Maria for taking time out of your evening to join us, especially after coming home from work. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you here, and we will definitely invite you back.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Luckily, I work from home, so it's not too big of a drive.
And remember, we are pro-librarian here.
Okay. It's good.
And as far as what's coming up on Pacific414 for tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be playing more Marvel Rivals. Who knows? I might be playing Marvel Rivals with Fat Steven and also Ron and Duz, although Duz seems to have a habit of predicting when we're all going to die. But, somebody's got to have some kind of talent, right? And
yours is dying, so that matches.
And, playing with those guys, we might throw in a little bit more headliners. So if you want to see one or two, or maybe all of us go out there, try to take pictures of aliens while avoiding getting killed, you're more than welcome to come by and join in the fun. And then, of course, we've got Sunday's Pop Talk. We've got the game streams next Tuesday and Thursday. Of course, Wednesday's Pop Talk. And, at this time, I just, again, want to thank you, Maria, for taking time to join us. This was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that you were able to join us. And
thank you.
Yes.
I'm also, yes, very educational. I'm also appreciative of Anonymous stopping by. It's okay. It's okay, Anonymous. but Anonymous, Tree Rock Creations. We also had Lady Mist. And as I scroll up here, Red Snom was here as well over on the Rumble side.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
Dr. Omega, thank you for being here.
Yeah, defrag was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
And as I scroll up here looking for more names, like DJ Ronnie G.
Nerd!
Thank you, DJ. Always appreciate it, brother. We also had Gary Ambrosia. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate it. Of course, she's got to
Thanks
keep an
again.
eye on Baron. She's always got to keep an eye on Baron. She never knows when he's going to misbehave.
She's working. What's she doing watching us?
She's got one eye on her work, the other eye on you, buddy. And we also had Tim, also known as FKHC 2005.
Some call me Kim.
And of course, I'm going to mention her twice. Lady Mist. Thank you, Lady Mist.
So nice. We have to acknowledge her twice. That's
Yes, and it's great to see PJ, also known as Orville Nation. Thank you very much. You see, the last time he came by Pop Talk, he came by Pop Talk on Cash's side. And Cash's bot timed Orville Nation out.
Yeah, that was too bad.
So it's nice that he's able to come somewhere where he's welcome.
okay. Yeah, Cash. What is wrong? Why? What's with you and PJ? Come on, man. Come
I don't
on,
know.
man. Jeez.
I don't know. He
You're such a
thought he
finicky
was.
person.
He thought he was doing some calves or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
And of course, Apollome's Minion and Puppers, Simi. I hope you two stay safe out there, and I hope that the weather doesn't affect you too bad.
Ugh.
Yeesh.
Of course, I mentioned you're wrong. No, I'm Mike. I'm right. Okay, maybe I am wrong.
But he does have some nasty dance moves there.
Yeah, he's killing on the dance floor.
I know. That's why I don't ever go out there. He's on there. It's like all the women like that, and a couple
And
men too. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I'm just scrolling up here to make sure I don't miss anybody. This is something I like to do for our show, is just to make sure I acknowledge everybody who was here. And of course, John the Beagle Dad, thank you very much for being here.
I love beagles.
They're cute.
Hey, they are.
The lovely Sherry, thank you very much.
Oh,
Good to see you, Sherry. Rod Thunderheart.
I won't say anything. I'll be nice.
Thank you, Rod. What? It's never stopped me before.
I know, but we got Maria here. I don't want to. I don't want to. I want her to think I'm a good guy.
And of course, the Nerporeal life form. Thank you, Brian. Really appreciate it. Nice seeing
No,
you,
it's
brother.
Michael Checkless Jr.
Michael Chiklis Jr. Yep.
And of course, I did say he was probably lurking. He was probably watching. And he was. Phil McCracken. Good to see you, Phil. Hope you're feeling good, brother.
King of the Trolls. King of the Troll Bots.
And let me just make sure I've gotten everybody. Because again, I don't like missing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
The Padawannabe. Thank you, Padawannabe.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, already mentioned Anonymous. But I also want to give a big thank you to McKinney Draws for the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much, McKinney. I've got to get him on the show sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say have him draw cash, but I don't think there's enough room on the paper to have his chin.
My beautiful chin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, Sci-Fi Mombi. Good to see you. It's good to see everybody who stopped by tonight. Of course, great to see Maria. And I just want to say, if you want to subscribe to Maria, yes, her links were in the chat during the night, but her links are also listed in the description below on YouTube and Rumble. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, here on Pacific414, as I always say, don't ever give up on me in a game, because just when you do, you might miss something. And we got another comment here, so let me just catch that real quick.
Ooh, another one.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
basically, you're going to find new ways of a person to die in the game. That's what you miss.
Alexander Ogrande, welcome. And my best to each and every one of you. And if you missed part of the show, always feel free to go back and watch it. And make sure you're subscribed to Maria. Make sure you're subscribed to Cash. Make sure you subscribe to Baron. And until then, everybody, take care and have a good night.
Autobots, transform and roll out!
And remember, if you don't like the show, tell all the people you don't like to come watch us. We'll take them too, really. Not mine. Equal opportunity here. We offend everybody too, so we equal opportunity there. Oh, that he's right there. It says please like and all that stuff. That's really Lake Superior.